Hey guys, it's your man Manny, and I'm making a video here with this young gentleman, Remy. And guys, I got to be honest with you, there is such a large spectrum of dogs in the world today. There are some that are super easy to train, there are some that are super challenging to train. There are some that if you train them when they're young, they're great dogs and they'll just be trained their whole life. There are dogs that if you wait until they're, 3 or 4 years old, and you try to train them and try to smash that training into 3 or 4 weeks in a board and train setting, guys, like, we might have to accept that there's going to be certain limitations when we do that. We might have to accept that it's going to be a different process with that dog. We might have to accept that the owners are going to have to take a different process with that dog. And this is one of those dogs, folks. He's a great dog. I love him dearly. But he got away from the owners. He's a really stout, extremely confident dog. He has an extremely high threshold when it comes to resisting and ignoring pressure and sensations that are uncomfortable. And he tends to be extremely distracted. Now, with hand feeding him over time, and with being very strategic about providing him toys and food in a way where he has to focus on us to get those things, with time his focus will increase. It will. If we bring food on the walks, if we bring a toy on the walks, he will learn how to focus on us more. But the reality is, folks, he also needs to learn how to work when he's not getting a reward. He needs to learn how to work not because he's excited. The issue with him is a lot of his problems are him just simply getting too excited. And so with this particular dog, we're using the prong collar here. We're proofing his basic obedience, the stuff that we know that he knows to some degree. And we're really only going to pay him very selectively when he does something super impressive to us. So pay attention, folks, here, and understand if you're struggling at home, you might have a dog like this, high energy, very distractible, and maybe 2 or 3 years old, and at the peak of their physical fitness and endurance and their mental tenacity as well. So this is a short session with him, and you're going to see how it goes. I don't know how it's going to go. It's challenging at times to work with him. Let's go. Good boy. Sit. Nuh-uh. Sit. I am not releasing the pressure even though he sat. I am purposefully holding the pressure for a few seconds after he has sat. I'm communicating to him. I'm not trying to hold the leash pressure for 3 seconds and then you sit down. You feel the pressure, you move immediately. Anything other than that, we're going to have to be very clear about. That's not a good idea. He has what we would also call an extremely high opposition reflex, folks. Sit. No. Sit. No. Sit. Let's go. Sit. No. Sit. Let's go. Good. Good. Let's go. Good. 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 Let's go. Good. Sit. Sit. No. Sit. Let's go. Sit. No. Sit. Let's go. Sit. No. Sit. Let's go. Sit. Good. Let's go. Good boy. Sit. Good. Let's go. Let's go. Good. 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 Sit. Good. Folks, this is the issue that I'm having right now in 2024. The only thing a hard dog is going to tell you is how skilled you are. And if you're struggling with a dog that is hard and you don't immediately accept that your skills are not quite there, your timing, the sequences, the marker words, the amount of pressure you're using, your ability to read the dog, your ability to know when the dog is moving in the right direction and when they're backsliding. if it's not there, you'll keep struggling. And dogs like this, they will be a mysterious case. If we can use a dog like this to help us go, wait a second, I understand this. Oh, okay. I have to hold the leash pressure, and even if he does it, if I've been holding the leash pressure to make him do it, I don't make the leash pressure go away right away. The only way the leash pressure goes away right away is if he does it properly. That small difference is the difference between us spending an entire day with this dog going, man, he doesn't do sits. Look at how much I'm cranking on this prong collar. Man, he's real stubborn. He's real stout. No, folks, we have actually, from a true scientific standpoint, we've actually been reinforcing that very behavior over and over again by struggling with the dog and it not flowing right and us not going, hey, this isn't working right. So when you're working with a dog like this, folks, the important thing is, if you're spending 5 or 10 minutes and it's not flowing and it's not making sense, you need to get off the horse and you need to contact a dog trainer. You need to practice your skills with another dog. You need to ask a friend for another perspective, or put the dog away and try again later, or try a different training technique or method. Because all the time spent struggling with a dog like this, no, sit, will actually ingrain the very struggle you're having with the dog into their nature. And this very, man, he really resists the leash, and you do all this training and practicing with him while he's resisting the leash, like, you are creating a dog that's normal to them now, resisting the leash. But if you immediately can go, wait a second, this isn't right. I need to make an adjustment. I'm not going to keep doing this over and over again. Then you will see the dog goes, oh, I understand that's the right way to do things. Now, the problem with these prong collars, folks, is it's so easy to force a dog to do stuff. It's so easy to pop the collar and correct the dog that you will get the idea that maybe your skills are beyond where they are. Only when you get a dog like this, where those methods of force and popping the collar doesn't work, do you realize, oh man, I don't really have the skills I thought I had, or maybe I need to learn more. So he's chilled for a second. He's holding a sit, which is actually really hard for him. He's holding the sit as I walk around and I talk without me even needing to say anything to him at all. I don't need to repeat the command. I don't need to use any sort of body language. No, sit. And at the moment when I say no, sit, and this motherfucker, pardon my French, but he sits down on his own, I didn't even touch the prong collar, you bet you I'm going to give him a big reward. He crushed it. No, sit. And when there's confusion, no, sit. No, sit. When the food's introduced, arousal comes back immediately. He goes, oh, wait a second. Maybe I do that thing where I keep getting out of command and I just get excited and I don't really think about the prong collar. And then perhaps I go, maybe I do that thing where I get frustrated and I don't really think clearly about what I'm doing and if the sequencing and the pattern's really making sense to him. If by definition I'm really using operant conditioning, truly, the dog will change behavior. It's a dog. Sit. Break. Break. So that's just that, folks. Like, although sometimes we have to use high levels of pressure with the dog, although sometimes we have to hold the leash, and I'm not letting go, man, you're going to sit down. That's how it's going to be. It's so important that we're not doing that over and over again. That if we're doing that, that's not what's normal. And that we can make the adjustments, we can make the changes to go, hey, look, I understand sometimes I need to basically force the dog. I need to use the prong collar at a high level. I might even need to pop the prong collar. But once I've done that like a couple times, if I'm not seeing a clear change, like, I gotta really then go back to the drawing board. And this is the hardest part, I think, about these training tools, is learning how to use pressure, use force, use higher levels to motivate the dog to do things, and then also be able to slow down and use low levels and go, hey man, I'm gonna use low levels here. I don't wanna get be too hard on the dog, because the other thing that'll happen is the dog's just gonna ignore the prong collar. The dog will become extremely desensitized to the prong collar. And you see this with my dad's dog. I mean, my dad used to walk his dog down the street on a prong collar, like this, and the dog's just pulling him on a prong collar. Sit. No. Sit. Good. Sit. No. Sit. Good. No. 1, 2, 3. No. Sit. 1, 2, 3. No. Sit. No. Sit. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Sit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The leash has to come back in my hand. I have to interrupt him before he even gets up. Once he's gotten up, it's too late. He's confused. He just got out of a sit. He's confused. He doesn't know what I'm saying to him. He's thinking too much about this. No, sit. Look at how just that one food reward also created so much arousal in him that the very exercise he had just mastered, he's gotten screwed up. So this is also one of those dogs where you just go, hey, can I work with him without food? And why can I not work with him without food? Am I using the food in a way that's actually helping, or is the food here confusing him because it's creating some sort of excitement? Sit, sit, sit. Sit. Sit, 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 sit. Sit. Break. So that's just that, folks. That should be a session with this dog, a short session focusing on one particular task. And after this, we should put him in a crate, put him somewhere calm where he can think and process what's happened. If we do this training session with this type of dog and we just let him go hog and do whatever he wants to do, he's not going to remember what we just went over. So we do short sessions like this. We focus on basic stuff. We master the training tools. We see how the food plays into things. And that's all, folks. Remember, as always, we don't blame them. We train them. And if you're struggling with the dog, guys, reach out to me online. I'll show you. There's so much more to learn that we just don't know. Until next time, folks, we'll see you then. Good job, Pumpkin.